At the same time, it is being.
Very good morning. We are live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India News, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next talk. Israel appreciates United States' position in UN Security Council. PM Netanyahu asserts Israel will continue its war to eliminate Hamas. World Health Organization to hold special session today on the health situation in Gaza and the West Bank, with Palestine seeking more medical aid and access for foreign healthcare workers. Philippines accuses China of firing water cannon and ramming its resupply vessels in the South China Sea. At COP28, participating nations push for stronger commitment on phasing out fossils. And in sports, the first ever Khelo India Para Games to begin in New Delhi on Sunday. Over 1,400 athletes to be part of 8-day sporting extravaganza. News in detail now. As Israel-Hamas conflict continues, Israel has ordered residents to evacuate the center of Gaza's main southern city, Khan Yunis, on Saturday, as it has expanded its ground operations in Gaza to combat Hamas. The move comes after the United States wielded its UN Security Council veto to shield its ally from a demand for a ceasefire. Since a truce collapsed last week, both sides have reported a surge in fighting in the north. While Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu welcomed the United States veto at the UN Security Council.
I greatly appreciate the correct stance that the US has taken in the United Nations Security Council. The other countries need to understand that on the one hand, it is impossible to support the elimination of Hamas, while on the other hand, calling for a halt to the war which will prevent the elimination of Hamas. Therefore, Israel will continue our just war to eliminate Hamas and achieve the other goals of the war that we have set out.
Now, Israel's military chief also said that Israeli troops must increase pressure on Hamas as the system is showing signs of falling apart.
I see the achievements from day to day. We are seeing every day terrorists who are killed, also terrorists who are injured. In the last days, we see terrorists who are surrendering. A sign of the collapse of the system, a sign that we need to press harder. And this is what you are doing.
And Israel Defense Forces took to their social media and issued a statement early on Sunday and said that 5 of its soldiers have died in the ongoing conflict in Gaza. IDF further said that 4 soldiers were killed in the battle in southern Gaza, while the 5th succumbed to his wounds after fighting on October 7th attack. IDF issued another video on its social media showing Hamas members beating civilians and steal the humanitarian aid they received from international organizations facilitated by Israel. And thousands rallied in Tel Aviv on Saturday calling for the release of hostages held in Gaza. Earlier, around 100 hostages were released by Hamas in exchange for prisoners under a 7-day truce. Now, the World Health Organization will hold a special session on Sunday to discuss the health situation in Gaza and the West Bank, with the Palestinian envoy seeking more medical aid and access for foreign healthcare workers. The UN Health Agency said it had received a request from 15 countries to hold the session. The session is being convened by Director General Tedros Adhanom in consultation with the Qatari chair. Meanwhile, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar spoke to Palestinian Prime Minister on Saturday. Jaishankar took to his social media account and said, and I quote him, spoke to Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammad Shtayyeh. He expressed deep concern on the situation in both Gaza and the West Bank. reiterated India's long-standing position on Palestine, agreed to remain in touch, unquote. And amid a border dispute over the Essequibo region, Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro and Guyana President Mohamed Irfan Ali will meet on December 14th. The announcement of the bilateral meeting came after Maduro spoke with UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres and the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Ralph Gonsalves, on Saturday. Venezuela's government said the meeting is in order to preserve its aspiration to maintain Latin America and the Caribbean as a zone of peace. The office of the President of Guyana confirmed President Ali had agreed to the meeting, but added Guyana's land boundary is not up for discussion. And Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva on Saturday urged Venezuela to avoid inflaming territory dispute with Guyana. In a phone call from Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro to Lula, the Brazilian president called for dialogue, stating that it was important to avoid unilateral measures that could escalate the situation. Lula reiterated that Brazil is ready to support and follow dialogue initiatives, reinforcing a joint declaration by South American countries that was released earlier this week. Now, Egyptians will vote on Sunday to elect a president, with incumbent President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi emerging as a strong favorite to win another term. For the first time, Egypt is witnessing 4 candidates in the race for presidentship, turning it into one of the biggest elections so far. Sisi had won his first presidential election in 2014 and was re-elected in 2018. In 2019, constitutional amendments extended the presidential term to 6 years and exceptionally allowed Sisi to run for a third term. Egyptian expatriates casted their ballots from December 1st to 3rd in countries' embassies and consulates worldwide. In a landmark move this time, Egypt took to allow all office people to show support for the military-led transition. Workers assembled giant screens, set a stage and hung flags outside the Argentine Congress in preparation for the swearing-in ceremony of Javier Milei to be held on Sunday. Milei is carrying the hopes of 45 million Argentines who have been hit hard by 150% inflation. Grappling with poverty, the country is by far the biggest debtor to the International Monetary Fund. His win was spurred by voter anger at the outgoing centre-left Peronist government for failing to control the sliding economy, with prices rising by 930% and peso losing over 80% of its value against the dollar. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is on a visit to Argentina to attend the inauguration of new Argentine President Javier Milei. This is his first trip to Latin America. Zelensky's trip will focus on Ukraine's long-standing bid to secure the support of countries in the global south. The Ukrainian president visited Cape Verde and met Prime Minister José Luis Correa en route to Argentina and thanked him for condemning Russian aggression and supporting Ukrainian initiatives. Kiev is now trying to build ties with African, Asian and Latin American countries in hope to win Global South's support. Now, Russia and Ukraine both claimed rippling each other's offensive in multiple directions on Saturday. The Russian Defense Ministry reported its forces successfully repelled multiple Ukrainian offensives in eastern Ukraine, attacked a Ukrainian ammunition depot and destroyed their armored vehicles and artillery systems. Russian air defense forces also intercepted many drones from the Ukraine side. The ministry said this. Meanwhile, Ukraine said that over the past 24 hours, many battles between Ukrainian and Russian forces took place in Bakhmut in eastern Ukraine and the other directions. It claimed that the Ukrainian army's missile units carried out strikes on many Russian targets, including a bunker. They also claimed to have intercepted a Russian missile. While Ukraine also strongly condemned Russian plans to hold presidential elections next spring on occupied territory, Kiev declared the elections as null and void and pledged to prosecute any observers sent to monitor them. The Russian authorities have scheduled the country's presidential election in March next year and said that the residents in 4 occupied Ukrainian regions, that is Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporizhia and Kherson, would be able to vote for the first time. Whereas Ukrainian officials pressed on with a campaign to remove Soviet-era monuments on Saturday, as authorities in the Ukrainian capital, Kiev, dismantled the status of a Soviet field commander from a central boulevard. The structure had occupied a prominent spot on a central artery named after Ukraine's national poet. Kiev officials informed media that the statue would be moved to a museum. Now, Crimean Muslims gathered on Saturday to pray at the newly opened Cathedral Mosque of Crimea, which took 8 years to be built in Simferopol. The official grand opening of the main mosque of Crimea is expected to take place later. According to Crimean leader Sergei Aksyonov, the construction of the building, with a total area of 5,700 square meters, started in 2015. About 80% of materials were imported from Turkey. It can host 1,500 men in the main hall and 900 women on the balcony for prayer. Moving on, the Philippines has accused China of firing water cannon and ramming its resupply vessels in the South China Sea, with one of the ships suffering serious engine damage. A Coast Guard spokesperson said on the social media post the Chinese Coast Guard water cannoned 2 of its resupply vessels in the South China Sea. Meanwhile, China's Coast Guard said in a statement that 2 Philippine vessels, ignoring repeated warnings, had illegally entered the waters adjacent to Ranai Reef in the Nansha Islands without the approval of the Chinese government. The incident was the second ramming between Philippine and Chinese ships since October in the vicinity of 2nd Thomas Shoal. The collision comes as a Christmas convoy of around 40 Philippine vessels began sailing Sunday to the disputed shoal. The People's Liberation Army of China conducted training exercises in real combat situations in the South China Sea to enhance frontline command and emergency decision-making skills. During the training, the detachment successfully identified and neutralized a simulated enemy airborne target using radar. Besides, the crew effectively engaged a simulated enemy speedboat using machine guns. The training encompassed formation operations, vigilant navigation, comprehensive attack and defense, and precise light weapon shooting, ultimately boosting the troops' readiness for combat missions. Now, China on Sunday launched a new remote sensing satellite into space atop a Long March 2D carrier rocket. The rocket blasted at 9:58 Beijing time from Xichang Satellite Launch Center in southwestern province of Sichuan, sending the Yaogan 39 satellite into the preset orbit. It was the 500th flight mission of the Long March series rockets. The Yaogan satellites are designed for uses including gathering scientific data, conducting land surveys, and monitoring agriculture. All right, we'll slip into a very short break, but still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. Island nations participating at COP28 call for stronger commitment to fossil fuel phase-out and renewable energy. The summit of the Economic Community of West African States in crisis after a series of recent military coups will take place on December 10th in Abuja. And as they prepare to accept her Nobel Prize, jailed activist children believe they'll never see her again.
December 10th is observed as Human Rights Day.
On this day, we take stock of the human progress made so far, developmental process and what are the challenges caused by that development process. We are living in the cyber race. Internet is useful, at the same time it is being used for commission the crimes. Child sexual abuse on the internet and bullying is very common.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. At the ongoing United Nations climate talks in Dubai, COP28 President Sultan Al Jaber told participating nations to speed up their work to find a final deal, saying there were currently more areas of divergence than agreement. Saudi Arabia and Russia were among several countries insisting that the conference focus only on reducing climate pollution and not on targeting the fossil fuels, causing it, according to observers in the negotiations. On the other side, at least 80 countries, including the United States, the European Union and many poor climate vulnerable nations, are demanding that a COP28 deal call clearly for an eventual end to fossil fuel use.
Movement at the political level, and we need to channel that energy into speeding up the technical work. That said, there are still more areas of divergence than agreement. The window is closing to close the gaps. We are making progress, but not fast enough and not satisfying enough. My message to parties this evening is very simple. Work faster, work smarter, work harder.
And island nations participating at COP28 called for stronger commitment to fossil fuel phase-out and renewable energy. Under the 2015 Paris Agreement on climate change mitigation, countries aim to limit the rise in global temperatures to 1.5 degrees Celsius, the threshold scientists say would head off the worst impacts of the warming. To meet that goal, scientists say the world needs to cut global emissions in half by 2030 and to net zero by 2050.
Go silently to our watery graves. Therefore, we cannot and will not accept an outcome from the COP that does not set us on a course for a future that stays within 1.5 temperature.
Now, China's top climate diplomat said that a final agreement on fossil fuels at the United Nations COP28 summit was crucial, even if not perfect, but he declined to say whether the country could agree to eliminating coal, oil and gas entirely. The Chinese climate envoy Xi Zhenhua told reporters in a briefing that without the fossil fuels agreement, there was not much chance of success at COP28.
China is currently exchanging views with each country and group. We hope we can find a clear and correct future direction, and as a result that reflects positive energy and also reflects the maximum amount of tolerance and enables everyone to accept even if they are not fully satisfied.
On Saturday, India's Environment Minister Bhupendra Yadav presented the country's national statement at COP28 in Dubai. The minister demanded equity and justice in UN climate negotiations.
Equity and climate justice must be the basis of global climate action. This can be ensured only when the developed countries take the lead in ambitious climate action. Excellency, it is of paramount importance to repose our trust and confidence in the principles and process of the Convention and its Paris Agreement. Let us all reaffirm our commitment to work together for the common objective of greener, cleaner and healthier planet as we have one earth, we are one family and share one future. I thank you all. Thanks.
Meet Aisa Sukese, the Queen of Plastic in Africa, leading the charge for environmental change. Known affectionately as the Queen of Plastic in Africa, she shared her remarkable journey and her mission to empower women while addressing pressing environmental concerns in Gambia. She is the founder and chairperson of Women Initiative Gambia. Drawing on over 25 years of experience, SA identifies poor risk management as a pressing challenge facing Gambia and Africa as a whole. She emphasizes that how people perceive waste matters significantly. Rather than squandering resources, waste can be a valuable asset when managed effectively, both economically and environmentally. She stresses the urgency of taking action on climate change.
We have with us today in COP28, Aissatou Ceesay. She is the founder and the chairperson of Women Initiative in Gambia. Over many years of her work, she has earned this sobriquet, the Queen of Plastic in Africa. Hello, Ceesay.
Thank you very much. Hello.
What work you do in the Gambia which earned you this sobriquet, the Queen of Plastic?
Yeah, in Gambia, my work in Gambia is try to sensitize people about the plastic, the side effects of plastic. Make sure that people need, because I believe that people need to know what is the side effects of plastic, because in the Gambia, 75% of the Gambian people, they use plastic to light fire. And also you go to the dump site, you know, all waste is just dumped in one place, and what they will do is they will just, the scavengers, they will come and, you know, put everything in one place and burn it, and it's not good for our health. So that is why I set up the organization called Women Initiative Gambia, where we educate people about the side effects of plastic and what are the opportunities that they can get. When you looked at climate change, it has no border. So working with the communities and youths about plastic recycling, it takes us to when we recycle plastic and we look at the environment, it's kind of, you know, so vacant, there is no trees, it takes us to tree planting. So we work with schools and communities on how to transplant trees around them and protect them and take care of them. Because without trees, there is no life.
What are the lessons that the global community can take away from you, from your work based in Gambia?
Yeah, I think the global community, what they can take from us is they need to understand that the climate change that we are talking, the climate crisis that we are talking, it should be something that we work together as a team. One person cannot change the situation. We have to come together, but you can only be part of the situation, or you can only be participated to the problem if you know about it.
The protesters marching on various causes rallied at the UN Climate Summit in Dubai, highlighting issues ranging from Israel-Hamas conflict to indigenous rights and climate justice. As a condition of hosting COP28, the UAE agreed to allow protests to take place there under UN guidelines that require any demonstrations to be approved in advance and limited to the summit site. Most protests have taken place within the summit's blue zone area, which is under UN control and where local laws do not apply. Climate change activists turned Venice Grand Canal's water green as a motion to protest against the alarming lack of action against climate crisis at COP28 conference in Dubai, holding banners against the government's policies on climate change. Protesters dumped fluorescent organic dyeing compound into the famous Grand Canal, coloring the water body into green as an act to wake the government to take the needful actions. And the leaders of the Economic Community of West African States will convene in Abuja, Nigeria, to address the recent coup in Sierra Leone, Guinea-Bissau and Niger. The region grapples with insecurity and conflicts in Sahel. 4 members, including Mali and Burkina Faso, are suspended over military coups and will not participate in the summit. DD India correspondent in Abuja, Ajak Mangut, reports more on the proceedings.
ECOWAS leaders last met in an extraordinary summit in August after a July 26 coup in Niger that overthrew the government of Mohamed Bazoum. The regional bloc threatened military intervention as a last resort to restore Bazoum and imposed heavy economic sanctions on the country. It activated a standby force as a last resort while exploring dialogue to restore President Mohamed Bazoum. But the military junta has said it may need up to 3 years for a transition to civilian rule, a move rejected by ECOWAS. Since then, there have been 2 attempts to seize power in Sierra Leone and Guinea-Bissau. The U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs, Molly Fee, is expected to hold talks with ECOWAS leaders on how the United States can best support regional efforts to return Niger to a democratic path and to promote security, stability, prosperity and democracy in the Sahel. ECOWAS ministers met ahead of the summit to discuss the region's initiatives to combat money laundering and the importance of upholding democratic governance. Ensuring transition to civilian rule in the 4 countries of the region that are currently under military rule could top the agenda. The West African region has recorded more than 7 coups and attempted coups since 2020. Other areas of concern for the bloc is the worsening humanitarian situation in the region due to terrorism, climate change, boosting regional integration, among others. Ajak Mangut in Abuja, reporting for DD India.
Now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. The teenage children of jailed Iranian Nobel Peace Prize winner Nargis Mohammadi fear they will never meet their mother again, adding that they were proud of her struggle for women's rights as they prepare to accept the award on her behalf on Sunday. Mohammadi, who is serving multiple sentences in Tehran's Evin prison on various charges, had won the award on October 6th. A rare white leucistic alligator had been born for the first time in captivity in Florida's theme park Gatorland in November. The recently born white alligator is the first ever recorded birth of the species discovered in Louisiana 36 years ago. The new baby has a normal colored brother. They were both examined by Gatorland's veterinarian who gave them a clean bill of health. A blue and yellow macaw joined 2 military police officers on a motorcycle ride as they patrolled the city of Miracema do Tocantins in Brazil. Blue and yellow macaws are native to the Amazon region in South America. Twin panda cubs, Pit and Paul, are preparing to return to China from the birthplace of Berlin Zoo in the next few days. To commemorate the brothers who grew up there, the Berlin Zoo held a special send-off ceremony on Saturday with their commemorative nameplates unveiled. And thousands of people attended the traditional Stollenfest procession in the German city of Dresden on Saturday, where slices of a giant 1.8-ton cake went on sale at the country's oldest Christmas market. Famous as Stollen cake, it is the highlight of Dresden's Christmas market. And Nigeria's Dangote oil refinery received its first cargo of 1 million barrels of crude oil from Shell International Trading and Shipping Company, starting the operations after years of delays. This will kickstart output of diesel, aviation fuel and LPG before the refinery later starts producing premium motor spirit. All right, time for another short break, but still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. Multiple deaths flatten homes after apparent tornado outbreak in Middle Tennessee. An Indian Army organizes Army Veterans on a run in India's national capital, New Delhi.
December 10th is observed as Human Rights Day.
On this day, we take stock of the human progress made so far, developmental process, and what are the challenges caused by that development process. We are living in the cyber age. Internet is useful at the same time it is being used for commission the crimes. Child sexual abuse on the internet and bullying is very common.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Recap of what we have done so far. Israel appreciates United States' position in UN Security Council. PM Netanyahu asserts Israel will continue its war to eliminate Hamas. World Health Organization to hold special session today on the health situation in Gaza and the West Bank, with Palestine seeking more medical aid and access for foreign healthcare workers. Philippines accuses China of firing water cannon and ramming its resupply vessels in the South China Sea. At COP28, participating nations push for stronger commitment on phasing out fossils. The Biden administration has used an emergency authority to allow the sale of about 14,000 tank shells to Israel without congressional review. In a statement issued by Pentagon, the State Department on Friday used an Arms Export Control Act emergency declaration for the tank rounds worth $106.5 million for immediate delivery to Israel. The shells are part of a bigger sale that the Biden administration is asking the U.S. Congress to approve. The larger package is worth more than $500 million and includes 45,000 shells for Israel's Merkava tanks. The University of Pennsylvania President Liz McGill put in her resignation on Saturday following an outcry against her stance on anti-Semitism. McGill, Howard University President Claudine Gay, and Massachusetts Institute of Technology President Sally Kornblatt were all criticized by their school's Jewish communities for their handling of clashes between pro-Israel and pro-Palestinian demonstrators. McGill will stay until an interim president is appointed.
If the speech turns into conduct, it can...
Now, severe storms and tornadoes left at least 6 people dead in Tennessee, United States. Officials are actively searching homes for people who may be trapped or injured. The extensive damage has left tens of thousands of residents without power. The officials have urged the residents to stay indoors. Pope Francis offers prayers during a ceremony in Virgin Mary in Rome. It was the first outdoor ceremony that Pope attended after suffering from an acute lung inflammation 2 weeks ago. Later, the pontiff also visited the Church of Santa Maria Maggiore in Rome and spoke unaided for the first time since his health problems. Pope Francis have also asked aides to help read his prayers and messages since late last month and cancelled a planned trip to COP28 climate summit in Dubai on doctor's orders after a bout of flu and the associated lung problem. India is poised to become a global leader in 6G technology and the fixed wireless access revolution, according to Nunzio Mirtillo, Vice President and Head of Southeast Asia, Oceania and India at Ericsson. Mirtillo expects India to play a key role in the anticipated 300 million FWA connections globally by 2028. He compared this potential to the success of UPI, which went from 0 to 100 billion transactions in just a decade. He also said the company is also confident that 6G technology will be deployed even faster than 5G, which was rolled out in just 1 year in India. Mirtillo highlighted Ericsson's plans for Indian market, which includes a significant increase in investments, launching initiatives in 6G research and artificial intelligence, exploring India's strong pool of skilled engineers and startup ecosystem, an active collaboration with Indian telecom operators, supporting India's growth and technological advancement, and exploring India's vast market for 6G and FWA technologies. India has surpassed mainland China in the number of ranked universities in the latest edition of the 2024 QS World University Rankings Asia released by QS Quarterly Simons. This year's ranking features 856 institutions from 25 countries and territories, with 148 ranking for the first time. Peking University has been crowned the region's best university for a second consecutive year, followed by the University of Hong Kong and the National University of Singapore. India has the most represented higher education system, with 148 featured universities, showing a significant growth in the number of Indian institutions. The Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, retains its status as the premier institution in the nation. 7 of Asia's 10 best universities for papers per faculty are Indian, signifying the country's stronghold in terms of research. In QS staff with PhD indicator, 9 of the top 10 universities are Indian, with the Indian Institute of Science taking Asia's top spot. Infosys founder Narayan Murthy has praised the Modi government's national education policy, emphasizing the need for a focus on fostering invention and innovation. Murthy emphasized the necessity for fostering a culture of invention and innovation to propel India's growth, highlighting the need for a comprehensive focus on primary and secondary education. He emphasized on the need for young individuals to generate innovative ideas to create jobs and reduce unemployment. Murthy also stressed the importance of training retired teachers to contribute to shaping the next generation and ensuring the country's continued progress. And the 69th National Conference of Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad, held at New Delhi, is a unique conclave planned in the tent city of students from India and abroad. Dear India correspondent Kriti Vadhera reports.
In its 75th Amrit Mahotsav year, 69th National Conference of ABVP has set historical benchmark of making a tent city in heart of Delhi to accommodate more than 10,000 delegates coming from India and abroad.
It feels very pleasure to be here, as a guest to witness the largest student organization of the world. And it feels with great pleasure, and we wish all the best to the ABP for this grand international conference, grand national conference.
ABVP believes that students are not the citizens of tomorrow, but they are citizens of today. Therefore, they have a participatory role to play in growth of their nation in all aspects of life. Delegates from Kashmir in north to Telangana in south and Rajasthan in west to Manipur in east are part of this conclave. Thousands of students and student union leaders marched on in university campus with their traditional attires, singing folk songs and sloganizing patriotic slogans with a belief that students' power is a nation's power.
We have been working since months for this conference, and it has turned immense in a very grandeur scale, and we are very happy and motivated and also encouraged to see huge number of participation across the Bharat.
Delegates from all the 7 sister states of Northeast present here in conference. It's meant us a good experience here in this conference.
This conclave is one of its kind, showcasing India's rich educational legacy. The beautiful exhibition of artworks, several sculptures and artifacts are major attraction of this conference, depicting the journey of Vedic to modern Bharat. Thousands of students from all across the nation have gathered here with the same ideology, which is of nation first. This youth conclave appears to be the perfect portrayal of the mini Bharat. With camera person Manmohan, I'm Kriti Vadhera reporting from New Delhi for DD India.
And with a firm resolve to make India a developed nation by 2047, Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra van has reached Dibrugarh district of India's northeastern state of Assam. Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra is being undertaken across the country to attain saturation of flagship schemes of the government by ensuring that the benefits of these schemes reach all targeted beneficiaries in a time-bound manner. Ayodhya, city of Indian state Uttar Pradesh, also joined Indian PM Narendra Modi's Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra. Vans of Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra reaches Sant Ravidas Temple complex of Ayodhya. The citizens of Ayodhya lauded the initiative and said how this drive of Indian government will help provide facilities to all the needy. With Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's motive to make the country self-reliant and more powerful. Now let's take a look at other stories making news today. Indian Army organizes Army Veterans Honor Run in India's national capital New Delhi to celebrate and commemorate the memories and sacrifices of our brave heroes of Indian armies. The Indian Ministry of Textiles organized country's largest ever One Bharat Sari Walkathon in Mumbai. Indian Minister of Textiles Piyush Goyal flags off walkathon. The event aims to promote the handloom sari culture in India by inviting participation of women across the country to present India as a country of unity in diversity. The arrival of Siberian birds has become another attraction on the ghats of Varanasi as the winged guests arrived early this year in Varanasi, a city in North India's Uttar Pradesh. And Union Home Minister Amit Shah will chair a meeting of the Eastern Zonal Council in Patna today. A host of issues like minimum price for a number of minor millets, creation of infrastructure, water sharing are expected to be discussed. Eastern Zonal Council comprises Indian states of Bihar, West Bengal, Odisha and Jharkhand. Chief Ministers along with 2 senior ministers and officials are expected to attend the day-long meeting. Now, December 10th is observed as Human Rights Day, rights that are inherent to all human beings, regardless of race, gender, nationality, or any other status. National Human Rights Commission of India, or NHRC, represents India's concern for promotion and protection of human rights. In an exclusive conversation with DD India's Shubhendu Ghosh, Chairman NHRC talks about the importance of Human Rights Day and the key challenges in the domain.
10th marks 75 years of Universal Declaration of Human Rights. How is this milestone important for India and the world?
On this day, we take stock of the human progress made so far, developmental process, and what are the challenges caused by that development process and technological development which have taken place so far, and what are the new challenges which the humanity has to face, and we try to solve them, find new solutions for them. There are new challenges now which were not there before 10 years. 10 years before, the challenges were different. Now we have different challenges before us, climatic change, which are staring at the world climate, environment issue, climatic change, and then there are several other issues across the border which are affecting cyber security. These are the platforms on which we will assemble throughout the world, and it is for the benefit of each and every individual.
December 10th marks 75 years of universal.
And you can watch this exclusive conversation with Chairman NHRC on Sunday, December 10th at 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time or 2:30 p.m. GMT. All right, time now for another short break. But still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. Indian men's cricket team starts its South African tour with a 3-match T20I series. First T20 to take place today at Durban. Vatican lights up Christmas tree in St. Peter's Square. Details after the break.
December 10th is observed as Human Rights Day.
On this day, we take stock of the human progress made so far, developmental process, and what are the challenges caused by that development process. We are living in the cyber age. Internet is useful, at the same time it is being used for commission the crimes. Child sexual abuse on the internet and bullying is very common.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. A latest IMF report says India is poised to remain the fastest growing economy. India's economy is projected to remain the fastest growing with growth above 6% till 2028. It marks a stark contrast from 2013 when India was struggling economically. The IMF expects India to become the world's 4th largest economy with growth above 6% till 2028. In contrast, from 2013, when India was a struggling economy, like we said, India is expected to become world's 4th largest economy by 2026 and 3rd largest by 2027, overtaking Germany. And India's economic size relative to China to grow by 25% till 2028, and Indian economy is now up to 21% of that of China. The income tax return filed by individual income taxpayers increased by 90% in 8 years to 6.37 crore in assessment year 2021-2022, the Central Board of Direct Taxes said in a statement. The number of ITR filings consistently increased among individual taxpayers, indicating a widening of the taxpayer base. The returns filed by individual taxpayers have increased from 3.36 crore in assessment year 2013-14 to 6.37 crore in assessment year 2021-2022. The average gross total income for individual taxpayers have registered an increase of 56% from 2013-14 to 2021-2022. During the current fiscal 7.41 crore returns have been filed for assessment year 2023-2024 till date, including 53 lakh first-time filers. Giving a breakup of the returns filed by individual taxpayers across various ranges of gross total income, ITRs filed by individual taxpayers earning between Rs 5 lakh and Rs 10 lakh have increased to 95% during the period from 2013-14 to 2021-2022. In West India is set to host the 27th World Investment Conference from December 11th to 14th at Yashobhoomi, New Delhi. Under the aegis of the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade in West India, along with the current president of the World Association of Investment Promotion Agencies, this year's conference is themed Empowering Citizens, IPA is pioneering future growth. Union Minister Piyush Goyal will deliver the keynote address on the role of trade and investment in the decade of action on 13th December and later chair a closed-room roundtable of private equity. The conference, an annual flagship event of WIPA, serves as a platform for global investment promotion and innovation stakeholders. All right, sports updates now. The eagerly anticipated inaugural edition of Khelo India Para Games is slated to kick off from 10th of December in Delhi. In fact, it has already started. The event is set to witness a historic inauguration by Union Home Minister of India, Amit Shah, on December 11th, highlighting the government's commitment to promoting para sports on a national scale.
Get ready for a game-changing moment in Indian sports. The first ever Khelo India Para Games are set to take place from December 10th to 17th in Delhi. Union Home Minister Amit Shah will inaugurate the event on 11th of December at the IG Stadium in Delhi, showcasing government's commitment to inclusivity in sports. Over 1,400 participants from across 32 states and union territories, including Services Sports Control Board, are expected to participate in the maiden Khelo India Para Games. Para-athletes will vie for honours in 7 disciplines, including para-athletics, para-shooting, para-archery, para-football, para-badminton, para-table tennis and para-weightlifting. The events will be held across 3 Sports Authority of India stadiums: the IG Stadium, Shooting Range in Tughlakabad and the JLN Stadium. The Khelo India Para Games promise to be a game changer for para sports in India. The event is a major step towards making sports more inclusive and diverse.
Continuity of the Para Games and creating more development in the Para-Olympic sports remains our foremost agenda. The first ever Khelo India Para Games is another big step towards the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji. The Khelo India scheme has remained a game changer for Indian sports. The Khelo India Games have played a pivotal role in the scheme. I wish all the participants of the Khelo India Para Games all the very best.
We are very happy that now my new India is becoming inclusive India. I thank the vision of Honorable Modi ji and the Sports Ministry, also the Sports Authority of India, for coming together and making this platform and making India inclusive when it comes to sports.
This initiative follows Prime Minister Narendra Modi's mention of the Khelo India Para Games at the International Olympic Committee's session in Mumbai just 2 months ago. The addition of para sports to the Khelo India series fills a gap that existed despite hosting 11 successful Khelo India Games since 2018.
ये एक सबसे बड़ा अपॉर्चुनिटी है पैरा एथलीटों के लिए कि उनको पैरा खेलो इंडिया गेम्स के जरिए उनको प्रमोट किया जा रहा है और इस साथ ही साथ जो यंगस्टर हैं उनको भी अच्छा मौका है अपने आप को रिप्रेजेंट करने का। जो रूरल एरिया के खिलाड़ी उनके लिए बहुत बेनिफिट रहेगा इसके लिए, और जो यंग खिलाड़ी हैं और आने वाले हमारे देश के लिए जो ये स्पोर्ट्स है खेलो इंडिया स्कीम्स है इसके लिए बहुत ही बेनिफिट रहेगा। और मैं मानता हूं कि जैसे एबल बॉडी को सपोर्ट मिल रहा है उसके साथ साथ पैरा स्पोर्ट्स को भी सपोर्ट मिल रहा है।
As the excitement builds for the opening ceremony on December 11th, the Khelo India Para Games are poised to make a lasting impact on Indian sports, embracing a new era of inclusivity and excellence. Narayan Singh's report for DD India, Delhi.
All right, DD India's Narayan Singh is joining us from newsroom to talk more on this. Narayan, good morning. Khelo India Para Games happening for the first time. How big is this for the nation India and also for the athletes who are part of this?
Good morning, Abhishek. A big moment for the Indian sports history, a new dawn for the Indian sports, and we can say that a milestone moment for the Indian sports, considering the fact that first time on 14th October, Prime Minister Narendra Modi mentioned about the para sports, para Khelo Games in the 141st session of the IOC in Mumbai, and within a span of less than 2 months, it is on the ground and the games has been started. So this shows the kind of commitment by the government of India, PM Modi, how serious they are about the sports, about the para sports, as the sports minister also said that it is their main agenda to promote the para athletes and the para sports, and that's why we are seeing such kind of events, and around 1,400 athletes are participating in this movement. It has already been started with the para badminton event in the capital at the IG Stadium. So we are hoping that this kind of initiative, this kind of platform under the aegis of the Khelo India, this series of the Para Games with the inclusion in the Khelo India aegis, definitely it will help our athlete and boost their morale. And more importantly, the thing is that it's not only about winning the medals for our para athletes, because when the budding para athletes will get a chance to showcase their talent at this level through the Para Khelo Games, definitely it will also give a aim to their life also. And because with the help of introduction of sports in their life, definitely the government has also introduced many schemes for the para athletes in the government job sectors. So in that sense also it is a morale booster for athletes.
Narayan, also before we leave you, for any nation to become a sporting nation, work at the grassroots level is very important. You think this is a big step in that direction, and Para Khelo Games all set to unearth future champs?
True, Abhishek. In that sense, in the recently held Hangzhou Para Asian Games, we saw that our para athletes won a record number of 101 medals overall in the medal tally, and it was the maximum in any multi-sports event by India. So this shows that the kind of work done by our athletes, kind of the introduction, kind of work laid out by our government on the infrastructure level, giving the kind of exposure, the equipments, the, we can say, the high performance directors, sports science, everything is involved right now in our sports. And when we talk to players, whether they are para athletes, whether they are athletes, they are saying that the kind of facilities they are receiving from the governments, and we can say that whatever they are demanding, and within we can say that few days or within a few hours they are getting that thing. So when the athletes are appreciated, that is also a factor. They are saying that the PM, when they come from a mega event, when they are going for a mega event, when they are winning a medal, so the PM Modi appreciates them. And when the Prime Minister of the country takes the accountability of the sports, when he follows those sports, and it is also pushing the privates, the corporates, the sponsors to come, and that's why all the stakeholders are coming together and making the Indian sports and putting Indian sports on a different level.
Absolutely. Happening for the first time, Para Khelo India Games, and this will go on till December 17th. We'll leave it at that. Thank you, Narayan, for getting us the updates. Vatican lit up its famed Christmas tree in St. Peter's Square and unveiled this year's nativity scene on Saturday, inspired by the first living nativity scene created 800 years ago by St. Francis in 1223. The 28-meter tall spruce was decorated with Edelweiss, a white mountain flower native to the Alps.
Raggiunto nella Valle Sacra Ariatina 15 giorni l'atmosfera del Natale e le grotte di Greccia, arrivato Francesco trovò la greppia con il fieno, è il figlio di Dio che libera dal peccato.
All right, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.